In the world of Dungeons& and Dragons, there's always one person at the head of the table who isn't just playing one character. Nope. They're playing everyone and everything else. They're the keeper of secrets, the weaver of fate, and the architect of entire universes. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the most powerful role in the game, the Dungeon Master.
When you picture a dungeon master, you might imagine someone just buried under stacks and stacks of rulebooks. But honestly, this image is way closer to the truth. The real work, the real magic, it happens right up here, in the imagination. It's all about building a world so real, so compelling, that your players feel like they can actually reach out and touch it. It's not about memorizing rules. It's about limitless creativity.
So what does a dungeon master actually, do? Well, at its very core, the job is to be the ultimate storyteller for your friends. But that one title, it contains a whole bunch of different jobs rolled into one. And this right here breaks it down just beautifully. Think about it. As the director, you're setting the scene, you're controlling the pace of the story. As the improviser, and this is a big one, you're reacting to all the wild, unpredictable things your players are going to do. Trust me, they will. As the referee, you're making the tough calls when the rules get a little fuzzy. And as the teacher, you're the one introducing your players to this amazing world and all its dangers. Yeah, it's a lot of hats to wear, but that's exactly what makes it so much fun. But here's the most important thing. Above everything else, your main goal is this. You are not trying to beat the players. You're their biggest fan. Your job is to be the engine of fun, to create these awesome situations, and to weave their characters' stories into the bigger plot. You just gotta make sure the incredible story you're all telling together never, ever grinds to a halt. And that creative canvas you're working on, it can be as small or as ridiculously vast as you want it to be. You can start with just one humble little spot and then expand all the way out to the very edges of reality. Right? Every grand adventure needs a beginning, and the DM is the one who paints that very first picture for the players. So where does it start? Is it a sleepy little village where, the fish in the river are suddenly tasting weird? Or maybe it's the grimy backstreets of a port city where a mysterious stranger has a job offer you can't refuse. That starting point, that's what grounds the entire adventure. Exactly! Why stop there? A single town is really just a tiny dot on a much, much larger map. And the DM? You get to create that entire map. You populate it with rival kingdoms, ancient histories, deep-seated conflicts, and completely unique cultures. You're not just running an adventure, you're inviting your friends into a world that you brought to life. And the scale we're talking about is it's incredible. Your world doesn't even have to play by the normal rules of physics. One quest could take your players to a breathtaking city built entirely on cloud banks. And the very next one, it could plunge them right into the fiery chaos of the Blood War, fighting demons on battlefields made of scorched earth and bone. The only limit, literally, is your imagination. Okay, so we've been way out there in the cosmos. Let's zoom back in for a second. How does a DM take all these huge, epic ideas and actually shape them into a thrilling adventure that players can experience? Well, it really just comes down to a few core pieces. Every great quest, and I mean every single one, from a simple goblin hunt to a plane-hopping epic, follows this basic blueprint. You need a hook to get the players invested, you need challenges to make them feel like heroes, and you need a clear goal so they know what in the world they're fighting for. It's such an elegant and powerful framework for storytelling. Now that is a hook. I mean, come on. This one sentence, pulled right from the guide, is just packed with mystery and super high stakes. Who is this hero? What is this monster? A good hook gets the players' brains firing, asking questions that they'll be desperate to find the answers to by playing the game. When we think about challenges in D&D, our minds usually jump straight to combat, right? Slaying a dragon, fighting off goblins. But a great DM knows that a truly memorable adventure tests the players in all kinds of different ways. A clever trap hidden in the floor, a confounding riddle etched on an ancient door, or just a treacherous, stormy mountain to cross. Those can be just as exciting as any battle. And the guide gives you some fantastic and frankly kind of terrifying ideas. Just imagine your players are creeping through a dungeon, they see a patch of fuzzy brown mold and think nothing of it, until suddenly the cleric's torch sputters out and the air gets unnaturally cold. Or maybe they just accidentally nudge a weird-looking mushroom, and these little hazards make the world feel so much more alive and dangerous. So how in the world does a DM keep all of this straight? How do they invent all these creatures, places, and treasures? Well, they have a little help. The Dungeon Master's Guide is less of a rulebook and more of a giant magical toolbox for creation. And let's be real, a huge part of the fun in D&D is finding awesome treasure. This guide gives the DM everything they need to go way beyond just a handful of gold coins. It gives you systems for crafting totally unique magic items that can become central to the entire story. And the sheer range of what you can create is it's wild. On the one hand, you've got items of pure, hilarious whimsy. I mean, who wouldn't want a jug that can produce unlimited fresh mayonnaise? It's amazing. But on the other hand, you can introduce these world-altering artifacts of pure evil. Items that tempt your players with incredible power, but at a terrible, soul-scarring cost. But here's the thing, treasure isn't just about getting bigger numbers on your character sheet. The right magic item can completely define a character. Finding that legendary bow doesn't just make the ranger better at shooting arrows. It becomes a part of their identity, a symbol of their heroic journey. Which brings us to our final, and honestly, our most important point. For all this talk of building worlds and fighting monsters and finding magic swords, the real goal of being a dungeon master isn't about any of those things. Dungeons & Dragons isn't a video game. It's not really a board game either. At its absolute core, it's a conversation. It's the back and forth between the DM describing a scene and the players jumping in, saying what their characters do. That dialogue, that shared imagination between everyone at the table, that is where the story truly lives.
And that's the real secret. There's no winning D&D. The victory is the experience itself. It's the shocking plot twists, the narrow escapes, the triumphant victories, and, yeah, even the absolutely hilarious failures. Those are the moments that become the legendary stories you'll all be telling each other for years and years to come. So when you look at this guide, don't see it as some big, scary set of instructions you have to follow perfectly. See it as a toolkit, a source of endless inspiration. See it as an open invitation to build something amazing, together, with your friends. The chair at the head of the table is empty. The tools are right here in your hands. All that's left is to answer one simple question. What worlds are waiting inside your imagination, and what legendary story will you and your friends tell together?